Okay, let's have a look at how programs make use of external data. First of all, we know that programs store data in variables, arrays and linked lists amongst other ways. But that's not always enough. Sometimes we can't always hold it all in the program, so we need to hold some data outside of the program. Think about when you log into Facebook, you put in your username and password, it's checking that, but it's checking it against about 1.5 billion usernames and passwords. Obviously, all of those usernames and passwords are not stored on your computer, they are held in an external data source somewhere else. Two types of external data that you're familiar with already will be text files and databases. You have used both of these in your computer science coursework so far. First, we'll have a look at text files. Now, programs can read from or write to text files. You've done this in your Java coursework. You created a program which read from a text file containing the ASCII table values. The same program involved writing to a text file as well. When your program encrypted text, it then wrote the text to an external text file. Reading from the text file saved you from having to type the ASCII values in, and writing to it allows you to save the data when you've done. It's also very easy to code a program to do that. The other type of external data you're familiar with is databases. A lot of websites use databases to handle external data. The Facebook example, when you log in, the login usernames and passwords are actually stored on a database. As there are about 1.5 billion usernames and passwords, that's a huge amount of data. So, larger amounts of data, it's much more efficient to store them in a database. You've done this before in your games reservation database coursework, where the games details themselves are stored in an external database. Just like text files, databases could be written to as well as read from, and it works in exactly the same way. So if you write a value from a program to a database, it will be stored within that database, saved, and be able to access it later. So small amounts of data can be handled in a text file, but a large amount of data is far more efficient to store it in an external database. So what you'll need to know for your exam is why programs use external data and the difference between text files and databases as external sources.